Today we're talking Stranger Things Season 5 finale. Welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana. Sam is here. Thank Hawkins, she's here. Hi, Sam. How are
Hi,
you?
Diana. I'm so good. How are you? We survived.
I'm good. Survived, sort of. I have reactions to this, but I also have reactions that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. I want to know what your first thoughts and feelings are after watching this finale.
So I really liked how the story, like most of the storylines, were completely wrapped up in such like a satisfying way, which like it left me feeling so content with the ending. But I did have a little something about how I was never really worried about anybody after that Steve, like after that, I was like, I never really got worried about stuff, but that didn't take away from anything from the story because I still really loved it. What about you? How are you feeling?
I absolutely loved it. I was a basket case. I still am. It hit me harder than I expected it to. And we'll get a little bit more into it, but I just want to say that just saying goodbye to the world, to the characters, to the sense of innocence, it just feels heavier than I thought it would. So that's how I'm feeling about it.
Can I ask you a question that's kind of related to
Sure.
like the podcast and it might lead into a conversation? So I was trying to think of why I wasn't as connected to it. And I wonder if it's because I didn't live during that time, so I don't have that like nostalgia attached to it. I would love if the spinoff took place in like the aughts or something where I was like a kid and I would remember the fashions, and I think that would be like really fun. I just wonder because I I really enjoyed it, but I didn't ever. I was like, oh, let's watch something else, and I didn't. And I was trying to figure out like maybe why I wasn't as affected by it. Maybe
I'm sure that is so true because this era resonates with me so much. I think that's why I'm so tied to it. It just, whoo, like right now, I'm feeling emotional. It's so hard. Okay. I'm trying to hold it together.
Should we move on?
Anyway, we haven't even gotten to the emotional part yet. Yeah, and that's why it's so great to get your perspective on this too, right? That's why I'm so happy that you're here. So, I want to talk a little bit about the early endgame moments because there were moments that happened before the battle began, and I wanted to get your take on it. Did anything stand out to you between any of the characters or what was happening?
I really liked the conversation between Steve and Jonathan. I thought it was nice for them to finally just air everything out and they're not tiptoeing around each other. They're not waiting for Nancy to make this decision. She has ultimately, but they're not waiting for her to tell them. They kind of just talk to each other. They're not going to fight. There's no bitterness, anger. It's just an adult conversation. And I really like that because I feel like when you're in the upside down and you're going to go to the abyss, there are bigger things. And it was just really nice to see their growth. And then at the very end, we get like they're like buddies. And so I think it all started there. There was so much that went on, though. I don't even know if I have other fave moments. I'm trying to think.
I do want to add to that. Sometimes you meet people and maybe you don't hit it off, but there is something. There is a commonality or there is whatever it is. It just reminds me of real life, how the way they acted really does happen to people, right? You meet each other, you don't like each other, something rubs you the wrong way, but there's something and you keep being around that person, coming into contact with that person, and then all of a sudden you become friends or friendly with that person, or maybe even really good friends, who knows? But so it's interesting that you said that because that's true about them. And I loved the moment with them. And I loved that it was Jonathan that pulled him up. I was like cheering from my seat. And I just thought if it had to be anybody, it's so great. Because you thought, okay, yeah, it could have been Dustin, right? Or it could have been Nancy. But the fact that it was Jonathan, I just thought that was such a cool thing for the Duffer Brothers to pick that character to do that. So I thought that was really cool. I really loved the moment between Mike and Will. And I had heard that Will is the one, or Noah, who plays Will, asked them to do that he asked for that scene. And I thought, oh, it was so important for them to, because when we had talked about the episode and how I wondered what Mike thought, here is what Mike thought. So I'm so glad that they addressed it and they showed that. And I just thought it was such a nice moment between them. Was, oh, you're my best friend. And so I thought that was pretty cool too.
I'm telling you, Mike has just been like, he's just like the cutest little bub. I don't know what they've done to him, but I love him. I just really did. Like, I was just, because I love Mike the Storyteller, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yes, we
But I thought it
will.
was just so incredibly mature of him to like he apologized for his like part in everything, but it's not his fault either. It's not his fault, but it's nice that he's like taking ownership for his like
Yes.
role in it.
Yeah. Well, not
Right. Yep.
recognizing it, not recognizing it,
Yeah.
being his friend and being so close. And you're right, it's not his fault at all. But I think as a friend, that's what you would do, right? You're like, oh, shoot, I wasn't there when you needed me because I was so wrapped up in my own
Yeah.
stuff that I couldn't pay attention to your stuff. Yeah. It just reminded me how Jonathan had, his brother was able to see it. So that does show you that Mike was absent from that because it was evident to Jonathan. Of course, Jonathan's his brother and lives with him and he saw a lot more, but still.
Yeah, and I bet you Mike probably just assumed it was just like regular teenager stuff, not like this huge big like secret. Yeah, I just loved all of that.
What did you think about Hopper, Collie, and Eleven's conversation and their interactions with each other? Because we had it wrong about Collie, which I think is great though, right? Because it led us to think one thing and we weren't sure about it. And I love how it played out. What did you think about that whole dynamic?
I was shocked. I was like, there's no way this girl's on our side. And then turns out she is. I liked it. I think you can see her when Hopper's talking to her about coming back. We'll handle the Dr. McKay stuff after. You can see like a switch, like flip on and like she's starting to soften a little bit because I think she realizes that Elle has like not more to live for, but has a team that will help her to figure out just how to navigate and to deal with that. And I feel like she's maybe asking her to sacrifice herself as like a selfish thing, maybe at first. So I think I like that she comes around to it. I don't like her being brought back to just like die. Like, I feel like she didn't really do anything in the finale. Like, she, helped like the kids to get out of the Vecna like world, like out of his house. I just feel like there was more, she could have done more. And why doesn't she get a happy ending? There's no reason for her to have her and 11 could have gone off together.
True.
But I do love that in her like final moment, she did maybe make that happen for 11.
You're right. I don't like that she had to die, or I'm pretty sure she did. I know, it's so hard to know, right? Who knows?
My fingers that like behind her she's walking up. She's not as like healthy.
Yeah. Exactly. Because you just don't know. You don't know. And the second watch, I was like watching every moment. I'm like, did she die? Did she not die? Why is she dying? So I was truly watching that. But yeah, I did appreciate that moment, that why she was there. The part about you said about Holly and the kids and making them not there. And I loved how they showed Max showing the kids, look, I'm not the monster, and how Vecna was interacting with 11 at that time. And so it just showed them. That was so good. I love that writing there. I also really, because of course the heartfelt moments though would get me, but I really did love the Hopper and 11 moment and about him telling her how she was abused and manipulated by terrible people and that she deserves a life and she deserves to have children someday and to be the one to be bothered by the door not closing or being open those 3 inches, just bringing all that back. And also seeing all those snippets of them through the years, it's like priceless to me. I think that's why I love this series so much, even if it's the 80s and the music and all that. Even if that wasn't there, I do love that it's been around this long and they're able to show those moments of their history, because look at the way 11 was. She was just a little kid, a girl when this happened, right? And even Hopper was younger. It feels like a lifetime. And when we get to see a lifetime of characters, it just hits me so much. That's what I gravitate toward, is knowing these characters for however long we get to know them for, and what they've been through and how much they mean to each other. Yeah. So I appreciated all that. Here is a scene with Vecna and Elle and the rest of the team. Let's take a look at this real quick.
I'm not afraid anymore.
So, okay, in case people couldn't see it. Okay, so that scene that we saw was Vecna right as he is about to get 11, and 11 is fighting back, but here comes Will the sorcerer, which was so cool to me. And then being able to see all of them together, which I know was really important to the Duffer Brothers. So what did you think about leading up to that and this moment that we just saw?
I almost started crying watching it. I got so emotional because I just like
I know, yeah.
because that's such like an intense scene. It's so intense, and just like they've gone through so much. There's so much loss, and they hardly win. Like their wins are like very short. Like they don't get to, like it's on the next one. And so I think it's like just wonderful that they got to like really fight back, and they all played a part. They weren't afraid, and I think like that just shows that they're growing up and working together as a team. Like they don't have to worry about anybody on the other side. Like they know that if the team that they're fighting with, it's like a well-oiled machine. Like they all work well together, and I feel like I don't even know. I just think it was just I couldn't stop cheering. Like watching that scene like the first time, the second time, and now I just put my hands up in the air and just get so excited, and then I cry a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh Lord.
I actually like that you got emotional on that, Sam, because I feel it so much. I tell you, it's the weight of this show, and just, yeah, see, it's so believable with these characters and what they have to go through. And I love that we saw every single one of them being able to fight one way or another. No one was holding back, and together they did it. And I love that moment with Will, seeing him with his eyes and that music. I love it. I love seeing all of them. I keep saying I love it, and I don't even, because I don't know how else to explain it, but it is this group of kids that came together, who are friends, who care about each other, and who are smart and strategic and just brave. And when they're able to pull it off, because they can each bring their own strength to this fight. And I also loved it when they were in this world and they were fighting and they weren't sure what was going to happen. And 11 finally comes in at that moment. And she's standing there, and I could see Mike looking at her like, oh, she's there. And then, but look, she can only do so much. She needs their help. And it's okay, we will fight the mind flayer out here while she's fighting Vecna in there. But then, right as it's about to get her, Will's able to come in and help her too. So I'm like, oh, I just love it how they all came together. I just thought it was one of the coolest moments. Okay. I think I also wanted to bring up when Vecna made Hopper think he shot her. Okay, that was brilliant on Vecna's part, by the way.
Like,
Go ahead.
That
Go ahead.
angered me. I felt like Hopper should know better than that. Like he should know better to, yes, I know that Vecna has come onto our world and he's been in the flesh and all of that, but You think he's gonna leave his little like post in a moment like this? I don't think so, man.
Mind you, one, he got him emotionally. He knew what would strike
I
a chord.
know.
And the fact that he sees his daughter and all
Yeah.
that. And also, I don't think Hopper had experienced Vecna himself and what he knows he's capable of it because of what he's seen the other with 11 and everyone else experience it. But I don't know if he's experienced it. So I don't know. And he thought he shot her because he shot the gun. But anyway, was there any other bravery that you saw in these moments?
Yeah, so I think the Wheeler women are just badass. Like starting with Mama, going down just down to Karen, down or she that is Karen. Like Holly and Nancy following their mama's footsteps. Like I just thought like one when the Demogorgon attacks, Mrs. Wheeler is 3 sheets to the wind with her wine and she just like squares up. That's insane. And I love her for it.
Yeah.
And then you see Nancy and like she's become more and more badass as like the show has gone on. And I fully believe in her holding that gun. Like it doesn't seem fake. It seems like it's like an extension of her.
No.
It's wonderful. Like kudos to Natalia Dyer. Kudos to her for being able to like handle it like that because I don't think like everyone could. And then Holly, her whole entire story has been her feeling not brave enough and not doing all this stuff, being caught in the moment. She's like what, 10? Let's just remind ourselves of that. But then she does eventually, like when she's in the cave, the fire stick or poker or whatever off the side, and she grabs it. And
oh yeah,
I was like, she's gonna beat some butt with that. And the way that she just takes charge of the entire group and she calls out Derek, eyes forward, Derek. Like she knew exactly who was going to be her problem. And the way that she talks to the kids, she's just, hey, eyes on me. You're going to see some shit. Ignore it. It's not going to hurt you. Because that's how like she felt. And it's so nice that she could step into this role of being like their protector. Even if not everyone deserves it, she does it because it's the right thing. And I just loved all of that. So other than the Wheeler women, I think Mr. Scott is just, or Scott Clark, I guess it's Mr. Clark. He is so brave. He just gets, because like in like previous years, he's been brought in under without him really understanding what he's helping with. And so for them to bring him in, explain this whole entire world, and for him to be like, what do you need me to do? Is so brave because he could just be like, I don't know, I'm gonna go back to my librarian and be totally fine. But it was incredibly brave of him to offer his help because the military is involved and that could get bonkers.
I wanted to respond to the Wheeler women that you brought up because I too think that they are so brave. And I love seeing Nancy with that gun. And I love the memes that I've seen with Nancy with the gun, like Rambo. It's just so spot on. And also Holly, totally impressed with Holly. Even that actress who plays her, she's just good. Like you said, taking the reins and knowing, because Max has to get spoof out of there when everybody else leaves and returns to the real world. And she has to take the reins and lead everybody, and just totally impressed with everything that she did, knowing what she did, and also being able to be resourceful and also think quickly, because she thought they were safe in the cave, which they normally are. But then Henry ends up going in the cave because he resists what the mind flayer has told her about not going into the cave, and he goes into the cave. And then she's thinking quick, she's okay, we got to get out of here. Let's go on to the next step. So she was able to do that successfully. So I appreciated her on that. I also wanted to bring up Murray because I thought it was so cool when he knows what he needs to do and take that helicopter out. And I just thought it was a great, great moment for him, kind of stepping up there. And of course, he's so proud of himself. But at that point, that's when it's a reaction of Hopper and 11 with what happened to 8. So like they weren't really able to give him his kudos that he was hoping for, but he was pivotal. Everybody helped, right? Everybody helped. And that was his way of helping. So I thought that was pretty good. Let's get to Vecna and Henry's story, because I just talked about how he went into the cave. So with Vecna and everybody coming together to kill him, what did you think about the moment where Joyce stepped in with the axe?
Oh, I couldn't wait for it. I was so excited. I thought, here we go. I love that we got our first F, I think, of the entire show and series. And I thought it was so well placed. And I don't, like, it just felt right. And I loved all the flashbacks, which made me tear up thinking about how all these people have been affected by this one person, and it's changed lives. It's not quite ruined lives, but it's killed people, and it's got to be so incredibly hard. So it was everybody in this fight has dealt with him. They have some loss, and it was just like they were. It's nice to be reminded maybe why we're killing this guy, because at first I was going to feel bad for him. I thought
Go
I
ahead.
thought he was
Keep
under
going.
control from like the mind flayer, and I thought, oh, I felt bad. And then we learn, no, that the mind flayers never made him do anything he didn't want to do, and vice versa. And so I guess he truly is evil. And I like Joyce killing him. It makes the most sense, and I'm sure it was hard for her because they went to school together. And I don't know that she knows exactly that this is Henry Creel, but I would assume she would.
I had told you earlier that this finale just really hit me in all the right way, and that I didn't really have too many qualms about it. But in saying that, I think that was one element that I was a little bit curious about, was like, okay, you knew each other growing up. What was that relationship like? And why didn't she say, oh, I know you, you're Henry Creel? Or why didn't she say, hey, I knew him back in high school, he was this way? Or because he was already something, because he had already gone through his childhood and everything happened with his parents. So it's just interesting that conversation did not come up. And they even show it when they were going through the memories with Max and Collie and 11 as they're walking through. And she's, wait, is that Joyce when she was younger? So they touch on it a couple times. So I'm surprised that they didn't talk about it. And so when she's killing him, he looks at her. Vecna does. And what is he saying? Yeah, you're going to be the one after I did this to your son, or yeah, you better put me out of my misery. I don't even know what he was thinking as he turns around and looks at her, but we know what she's thinking because we do see all the pain that he's caused the family through the years. But yeah, what a moment for her to step in and be that mama bear that she is. I'm sure it was a fun moment for Winona to play that part. So I love all the strong women that we get to see in the series. As far as Vecna and Henry, yeah, you're right. When Will is trying to get to him and say, look, you were a boy and you were just like me, and he controlled you. And you even see Henry with the tears coming down his face, and he's, oh no, I've seen the world. It's broken. Humankind is broken. And I'm doing whatever I need to do here. This is my choice. Yeah, that was crazy. I will say that I was surprised that they killed Vecna within the first, 15 minutes maybe of the show.
Mhm.
And we still had over an hour to go. I'm like, oh my gosh, so much more is going to happen. And I loved it. I was so excited that they had done what they had set out to do. And it was only a portion of this whole story. But then that's when we see the emotional core of this, because they're all riding in that truck. And for instance, when Doves Cry begins, because they're going to blow up the Upside Down, that's when Murray puts on the vinyl. And I thought, whoa, I have never heard Prince in these TV shows before. This is huge. And then they finally get back to their regular world, and the military step in, Dr. K and everybody. We're going to talk about choices and sacrifice and the illusions that we see in the finale, but I do want to play another clip for you. Now, this one isn't just that moment. It encapsulates the relationship between Mike and 11 and just some surrounding scenes in this episode. So I'm going to share that with you and with everybody. And we'll talk about it on the other side here. Okay, here we go.
And there's another road where you find a way to accept what happened.
I love you.
Okay, here we go.
I love you for exactly who you are. Please don't leave me out. Please don't do this.
Where did she go?
All right.
No
Whoa, some emotional stuff there. Oh, all right. So I want to know what resonated with you. It's told from Mike's perspective, right? Because it's about him being the storyteller. It's about him, how he felt about Elle, the moments that he remembers with her, moments he has with Hopper, and conversations they have, and then them playing D&D, which we'll get to in a few minutes. So I want to know what you thought about the choice, when you thought about the sacrifice, and or what you thought about this possible illusion that has been brought up. What did you think about all of that?
I think it can be very hard to accept someone else's choices. And I think that's why Elle kept it from everybody, obviously, because they also have to tell like the story and stuff. But I feel like it, on Mike's part and Hopper's and everybody, it's not easy when someone makes a decision that you don't agree with and you don't think is right. But I think it's really, it shows how much they've all grown, maybe, that they allow this to happen. Like, I know that they were all being held by the military and all of that, but I feel like they barely tried to escape because I think they just knew that they all knew that I think it needed to happen because, like, it's pointed out throughout this entire episode, if Elle's still around, then there's like Henry's blood and Vecna's blood, and someone will always want that. And I think it might have been the right choice to sacrifice herself. I don't like it, but I think it might have been the right choice. As for the illusion itself, I saw a theory that maybe she is in the abyss and she's not on like our world. And maybe because because Henry created that world, or did she create it or did Henry create it? Whenever
Mind Flare was already in the
there.
abyss.
Okay. Maybe she was just able to get to the abyss and she like was able to get out of the upside down maybe and get into the abyss. And then she was able to create this world for herself where she could see the 3 waterfalls, or the 2 waterfalls as we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
I thought her sacrifice was just a sacrifice. It was really heart-wrenching. And I think that it's better that for me to believe and that for them to believe that she is alive. So the choices, I think that it's still heartbreaking not being able to be with somebody that you love and somebody that you know. And it almost is still like a death, even though you can hope that they have a better life somewhere else. I can't even imagine what it is for Mike. I just think it's really hard for him to live one way or another without her, even though she is still alive. And what I love about the 2 waterfalls, and I love all these theories that are out there, and I try to listen to as many as possible. I love it because they say they had planned to see 3 waterfalls. So why would she be seeing 2 waterfalls? And there is a place with 2 waterfalls. So that means it's not an illusion because there'd be 3 waterfalls if it was them thinking on it. It's an actual place that has the 2 waterfalls. So she really is in this place. So that's one thing. The other thing is, because of course, for people who may not know, this whole thing is that Elle is still alive because Kali was able to show her at the bridge right there in the upside down, and that was all an illusion. What we saw with Mike at the end talking about her, that all of that really, is that possible? Could that have happened? Is that an illusion?
Because they had those, like the porcupines or whatever, were like, they were like, yeah. So I don't think Elle would have been able to move or use her power. Right. Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the other thing. And so for people, again, that don't know that, is that what they're called? Porcupines? I didn't even really know that.
Yeah, it's like
but it came to Mike when he was at the graduation. Richard didn't do in the second, but when he was at the graduation, he heard the feedback, and that led him to, oh, wait, they had those when Elle was there and the whole upside down was happening. And if that was true, then how did Elle get the strength to get herself away from everybody and over there? Is it an illusion, or is it true what happened? Also, her finger, just like they showed Kali when she was with Dr. K, and Dr. K realized that she was just a vision there because she saw her finger trembling. And that's when she wiped it and realized she wasn't there. The same thing happened with Elle there. Wasn't Elle's finger was moving the same way. So it's, oh, that wasn't really her. It was what Coley had set up for people to see. But for all of us, we're watching that moment and we're thinking that she's sacrificing herself at the moment she's going to die. And to see the reaction from every single person was heart-wrenching. To see Hopper, to see Dustin, to see Mike, to see all of them. Yeah. I was like, Mike, his performance just
I could
blew me
feel
away.
his wail in my bones.
Yeah. Also, it didn't help that we're seeing them as kids and him saying, just like we saw in this clip, how much he loved her. And I love it when in the beginning, when they're introduced to each other and he says, oh, call me Mike for short and we'll call you Al. And they're just, and then when they give each other their first kiss, and then even in that moment with both of them together, they kiss again as adults. Oh, God, it got me so hard. I had tears like down my neck, going all the way down my neck. It was like, and the second time I thought, oh, I won't be as emotional. Heck no. I was crying again. And so more times, like different times got me. So yeah, so that moment and all of that and that sacrifice and that choice. And it's hard. And there was a moment that she tells Mike, look, you know me best. You have to tell them why I'm doing this. And also when she also talked to Hopper and she said, you got to believe in me. I'm not a kid anymore. And so I love 11 kind of coming back to the forefront, because I feel in this season, it really wasn't about her so much. I felt like she went by the wayside a little bit. It was a little bit more about Will and Holly and Max and all these different people. So I love that it came back to 11 and Mike, which for me is the core of all of this series for me. That's what made me watch in the beginning. That what made me stay. That's what sticks out in my brain is the relationship between those two people. All right. So 18 months later, learning to live. What conversations or scenes felt most meaningful, surprising, or reflective to you?
I was really shocked to hear that Nancy dropped out of college and decided to just go into the workforce. Fully support that, though. I feel like that's right for her, because I feel like she, as like a journalist, I don't honestly know, but I feel like you can probably get more experience just by hands-on than learning in like college about that.
Yeah.
I was shocked, not a conversation or a scene to be had holding the military accountable for any of their stuff or explaining any of it. I wanted to know, did they just let everybody go after, oh, my bad, didn't mean to hold you, or we no longer have any conflict, I'll just go back to being like a naughty military? Like who, like I fully thought that Dr. K was going to be something bigger, badder. Like I thought she was related to Dr. Brenner,
right.
and she was nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't know that making her like a relative to Dr. Brenner would have done much. It would have made me happy, I think, in some way, but it wouldn't have added much to the story, I guess. I just wanted there to be some reason why the military was, I guess they were trying to create like an army of like super babies to take over the Russians. But that's so generic. But maybe that works though, because that's what the military does. They're not, or when they're like the bad part of the military, that's what they all do. They just want power, everything. But
yes, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, just to bring up, sorry, this is not like 18 months later, but the way Elle killed all the soldiers like in the lab, I was like shocked at how dark she went. Like she put that gun in that guy's like mouth. I was like, girl, not that he didn't deserve it, but still, it was like, oh, she's yeah. And she did it with, I don't know.
I know, actually that part got me too. I'm like, ooh, she's going there. Is she really gonna do it? Even Hopper's just shooting people left and right, like he's killing them. Right? Like you're dying. You know, they're not like I'm trying to wound you. No, I'm killing you. I'm like, oh, they're really killing people here. So the 18 months later, okay, so Mike's missing, right? And his mom's looking for him. And that's when Hopper goes to talk with him. And we saw a moment in the clip earlier. And I love I keep saying that, but I do. I love that conversation between them because you always know there's two roads here. You go this road or you go that road. And I've been to this road, and this road's not going to get you anywhere. So you might want to pick this road. And what would 11 want for you? That doesn't mean you're saying goodbye. That doesn't mean that you don't still love her and all these other things. It just means you have to move forward. You have to put one foot in front of the other. I did appreciate that conversation. And then he goes to his graduation. And of course, they're all happy that he's there. Mrs. Wheeler with all her scars on her body.
Mr. Wheeler lives.
But I know, right? And we just get to see everybody. And everybody seems to be doing better except for Mike. For me, that's what I'm thinking. Everybody's able to, and mind you, I'm not saying everybody's all well and good. Like everybody's hurt and they're always going to carry it with them. But I just feel like Mike is the one losing so much here because it was her, it is her. And so I think I just feel so connected and so hurt for him. But see, I was getting all emotional again, but I do want to say a part that was so exciting for me was Dustin valedictorian up on the podium giving his speech, tearing off his gown and a shirt that says, which I need, Hellfire Club lives. I'm like, yes, I love that moment. And it was what Eddie had said he wanted to do at his graduation. And here Dustin was doing that for him. So I thought that was such a great moment because I'm such an Eddie fan and a Dustin Eddie relationship fan. So I thought that was very cool. I also love how the four got together on the rooftop and talked about what they were doing. We were able to see where everybody was at, just all of them. I just thought it was a nice way to show all of that. I can't remember the girl's name that comes and asks Dustin.
Stacy.
She was so mean to Dustin. Yes, Stacy. That's Stacy. She comes, she is older now, and now she's probably, I was not very kind earlier. And so she invites them to come to her party. But Mike's all, no, I have a better idea. And I loved his better idea. So they all head back to go play D&D. And so it's the ending and it's the stories and it's the cycles and it's the belief. And so I want to know what moment from the finale stood out to you or left an impression emotionally, narratively, or visually.
I think just seeing, so I really liked the look of the radio tower and the sunset, which led me to think about other things. And I think I just really love the juxtaposition that we had of Hawkins being like blown apart and you see all of the town, and then like the radio tower is so important to like the season, and it's just so pretty and it's such a perfect like hangout spot. And I really did just love hearing where everybody is and how they all just get along because there's no drama anymore and they're all friends, like genuinely friends. I think it's hilarious when we're all young. We're like, oh yeah, we'll meet up once a month. And then they're like, yeah, we're going to do it. And I'm like, oh, babies.
Yeah.
You might do it for a couple years, but then it's going to get hard. And I think where they all ended up is perfect. Like Steve being a coach. He gets his little nuggets and he gets to like do whatever. And it's, yeah, I think like for him, out of all the group, I'd have picked him as the townie. But I mean that with the most love and because it like fits him. And I think I loved that Jonathan got to go to NYU. That's been his dream since he was 5 or 6 years old or something. And so it's perfect that he gets to go and just, yeah, I'm just so happy with how they all ended up. I did have a question though about how Max graduated because girl was in a coma for a couple years and then she's smart. So I'm assuming she just kind of hunkered down and just did the thing that she needed to do.
I know people were saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I heard people saying that, but I'm thinking it's 18 months. That's a year and a half. I'm thinking there is summer school.
She had 3 years to make
extra
up
classes. She was in a coma for 3 years?
No,
she was
for
in
2
a
years.
coma for 3 years.
They were in like there's a year or so like gap, I thought. Like after. It says 18 months have passed between the end of Stranger Things and season 4 because it ended in March of 86 and started in fall 87. And then we flash forward to 89. So yeah, so she was like a year and a half in the coma, and then 8, oh yeah, so I guess so. Maybe. It's like an equal amount of time. And she's, I mean,
Yeah,
she's,
that is a long time. I didn't think it was that much. I thought it was more, I thought it was under a year. I didn't know how long it had been.
I couldn't remember like
But
when the other one started and stopped because everything started like in the
yeah,
fall. So I just assumed it was fall. And then I think that one started in, I guess, and I don't even know. I guess it ends in March.
and it's funny, like no one really stays in a hospital that long either.
Never
No,
her parents.
I'm I'm okay. I know, but I'm okay. I can suspend belief. You see everything else that's happening. This is a science fiction
Yeah, but
show, so
that's like an unforced error.
yeah,
Like they could easily like address
yeah,
that. Oh, Max went to summer school and she just kicked
yeah,
ass. That's not.
right, yeah. I didn't even think about it. It did not cross my mind until I saw somebody bring it up. I'm like, oh yeah, okay. But to me, I'm like, oh yeah, she took summer school, she took classes. Maybe she was ahead to
She
begin
probably
with. I
was.
don't
She's out in
know, you
California.
know. Yeah. So who's to say? I don't know, but I was okay with her. I think what I about this ending, of course, what meant the most to me was the D&D, them playing together and watching them do something where we saw the very first episode start. And but now Max is there. So Max is able to play too. And that is where Mike tells the story of the mage. And I love how it ends up where they're not going to move forward. And Max is like, what do you mean? And they're like, oh, we lost. There's nothing else to do. She's like, what are you talking about? She gets all pissed off because this is her first time experiencing it. And then they're like, oh, but maybe this can happen. And then Mike starts to shift the story. And it was so good. It was so good. And hearing the story and having it just correlate to everything that 11 is and was, and then for each of them to say I believe and just be in tears and getting their books and putting them each away. And if you watch Mike and Will's books were together and it's an 11, somebody pointed it out and I couldn't help but look at it when I rewatched it. I'm like, and then that's when Mike looks emotional at it. Then he turns and goes up the stairs. And of course, Holly comes running down and they're like, oh, you guys should have been done a long time ago. Now we're playing. And she's the leader now of her group. And it just was so reminiscent of them and just him looking back at them and just passing it along. It's coming of age. It's his youth is moving on. Now he's a storyteller. Now he is a writer and all of that. So I just thought it was the perfect ending for this show, all the while making my heart break for all of them, just because it just feels so nostalgic to me. All right. I want to do a character check-in where we leave everyone. And I know we've talked about some people already, but I just wanted to know as we wrap up this story, are there any characters that you feel strongly about where we leave them?
Yeah, so I think Mike, I think it's incredibly hard to move on when you lose somebody, and if there's even any ambiguity about like them being alive or dead, I feel like that's like a choice, like talking to Hopper, like you have a choice to make, buddy. And I've been down the other road of anger and it's not good. But that's incredibly hard. Like it's very easy to say, oh, they're dead. Because then you can just grieve. It's not like you're going to miss them any less if you accept that they're gone. But for him to believe, that is so touching. And that's the harder route, I think. And I think it's perfect for his character, though, because I don't think Mike's ever really done the easy thing. Like he's always done like the better, good, like the right thing maybe, because when they see Elle, he immediately like connects with her immediately. And he's, come on, I'm going to give you a home. And just having that empathy for that, because that's, you're what, 10 or something, 11, and you're out and like a child, like a kid, just like you. And to just ignore your parents and make sure that they're okay is just so sweet. And I think it's just indicative of who he is as a person. And I think I really do. I hope he finds happiness. I don't know that it'll be with Elle. I don't think we'll ever get to see that, because I think that would just be not bad or wrong, but she has Henry Crill's blood, and I feel like if I'm the military or whoever, the government, I'm watching Mike and all those people like a hawk. And
Yeah.
so I just, it made me sad about Mike, but also like happy at the same time because that's just who he is. And I really like him.
I do too. Mike just really resonates with me. And yeah, I just, everything you said was just perfect. And I totally agree with it. The other characters, I'm trying to think, you had talked already about Nancy being at the Herald. And I think it's interesting. Nancy is at the Herald. Mike is a writer. And here we have Charlie leading D&D. I just like she's following in his footsteps. He seems to be following in his sister's footsteps. So they're all in that same way. So they're both like badass fighters and then they can tell a story. They're also good at it. So I just thought that was cool about the family all kind of being similar in a way. Dustin and Steve, I love that they have them going on road trips together still. I thought, oh, that just was so heartwarming to see that. And Joyce and Hopper with him proposing and they'll move. And it's so funny that they brought up Montauk, which is what the series possibly could have been named at one point, which would have been a terrible name. I love Stranger Things. And Stranger Things, one of the brothers was like, no, I think we should do Stranger Things. And the other brothers all, that's not a very good name. But it ended up being so perfect, such a perfect name for the series.
Wasn't it supposed to take place in Montauk too? Can you imagine
Yeah,
those accents? Like Long Island, New York, that'd be hilarious. Instead of the nice little Midwestern.
Yeah, so leaving them, and then of course we get to see Lucas and Max go to the movies and be together, and it was good just to see everybody. Yeah, I don't think anybody else really stuck out to me as far as I think those were all the main people, and that's what I was glad to see. All right, we're going to do a final reflection, rapid fire fun stuff. So we're just going to do some will pertain to this season and some will pertain to the whole show. So whatever comes to your mind, okay? These are just quick, fun ones. All right. So looking back across the whole series, what moment theme stood out to you the most?
I think that found family can be just as important as your like regular family. All of the people in Stranger Things are like nerds and dorks like we all are. And I feel like that's so important when you're in school to find people that are your people and you just don't worry about anybody else. And I think that's what I think this show is like an ode to that because yeah, everyone does have their own family, but we rarely see them, which is fine because I think it's more about the kids and their adventures and yeah.
I have as a theme is friendship, unconditional love, and found family, like you have to. Truly coming of age. Yeah, that's what I see in this. All right. What are your top 3 needle drops from the series and why?
Heroes. I feel like this is a cop out because most of mine are from season 5, but it's Heroes by David Bowie, Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, and Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I love anything they're so good, and David Bowie, anything is good. Fleetwood Mac, anything is good, but I think hearing them tied with the finale and everything with let's catch up with everybody at the end, like Landslide is already a heavy hitter. And Running Up That Hill is just that. Oh, I'm so happy it's coming back around again.
Okay, just so you know, because my life is the 80s, I had a hard time. Yeah, I did and I didn't. I did because there's too many I wanted to include. But I went with the emotional ones because that's what happens with me all the time. And one is Running Up That Hill. I know it's played so much, but season 4 was so good with Max and that song. And I'm so glad that they played it again in season 5 because it's an amazing song. Princess Purple Rain got me so bad. I will never be able to hear that song again without thinking about Stranger Things. And mind you, I love Prince and I love that song. It's just I've heard that it's 285% more, some big number on Spotify. Like it's blown up again because younger people are finding this record because they've never heard it before. which I love. Also, for me, Journey, I'm a big Journey fan. It's one of my favorite bands, but Journey's Separate Ways in season 4. And they played it, I think, in the trailer for one of season 4, but they also played it when they were all in the motorhome.
Mm.
And Max and Lucas and Erica are going to the house to set up that plan. And they're playing that song and it hits hard. And it's good. But I do have to mention Master of Puppets that Eddie plays on his guitar. That's such a good song. And should I stay or should I go now? There's just too many. Sorry, I said more than 3, so I'll move on. All right. What moments made you laugh out loud over the years?
I think anything with Murray, I've always loved his like he's so dry, but I love him. And I think anything with Robin too.
Yes. Ooh, we didn't talk about Robin
Mhm.
too much. I love her voice and I love when she says people's names. And I don't know how to share that with you, but I heard her say something like, she says Nancy's name at somewhere. She's on Nancy Wheeler. She says it. It's just so profound the way she says it. And it makes it seem like she's saying something really huge. And so I love her voice. And even being the person on the radio, it's just her voice is the best in that. And so she's really good at her, the advice she gives Will and everything else. So I really appreciate her too. And she is pretty funny. So one of the funniest moments that I've seen a lot is Steve and Dustin in season 3, The Scoops Away. When, I don't know if do you recall this moment when he comes to find Steve and Steve comes out and they're back and forth and it's the whole kind of like Star Wars thing and his guts coming out. Oh my God, it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. I will try to look for it and put a link in our show notes. But that scene has me dying anytime I see it. And just a lot of Dustin, which is interesting. I think Dustin with a lot of people is funny, like Dustin with Steve, Dustin with Eddie, Dustin with the group. So I think Dustin gives a lot of funny moments also. So I appreciate that. Oh, one moment in this finale that I have to bring up is when Erica says, "Gag me with a spoon." So 80s. I remember when that came out, people were saying it, and we would say it just for funny because we thought it was such a stupid saying, but we'd still say it because it was the saying to be said. And when I heard Erica saying that, I just laughed. It was such a nostalgic moment for me. But also the pizza guy, what was his name again? The last season, he was funny too. I can't think of his name, and I know his name. I just can't think of it right now.
His name was Argyle. What a name!
Argyle. Yes, Argyle. He was like hilarious too. So they brought in a lot of good people that I want everybody to share them. Oh yeah, they brought in a lot of good people throughout the season. So I just think that's very cool. Okay, next one is, which character will you miss the most?
I think Steve. And I've been talking a lot about Mike this episode, so I'm going to throw him in there as well. I think Steve with anybody is a fun time because, I don't know, he interacts well with everybody, and I think he's just like a fun guy. I shouldn't say he interacts well. Every interaction's going to be an experience. Because yeah, like that scene in Chips Ahoy, not a Chips Ahoy, Scoops Ahoy.
Scoops. I said Chips Ahoy a previous time, so I get it. Yeah.
I like how Robin is like, how many children are you friends with? And I was like, yes, I knew right away that we were going to love Robin because she ribs Steve and they're like platonic besties or platonic soulmates maybe, because he was the first person that she had come out to, really. And that whole scene in season 3 when they're in the mall is so good. It hits hard. It's such a good scene.
Yeah. For me, I'm going to miss Mike. I am such a fan of his and just how he is, how hard he loves and is loyal and friends and optimistic. And I just like him. I like him. Like I want to be his friend. So I will miss him, but also Steve. It's hard not to miss Steve. He's just has this thing about him. Dustin, the actor, had said every time that Joe walks into a room, he just lights it up. And he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it to, hey, look at me. It's just how he brings himself into a room and how he acts. And he said it in a very complimentary nice way. What a good guy he is. I love hearing that about
I
him.
did hear that Joe had stolen because they're like or had taken stuff off the set. They had just taken stuff for like his
Yeah.
bandmates. He was like, "So what size are you?" Like, how cute!
That is. What do you think the spinoff might focus on?
Oh, I'm hoping what happened in that cave. I want to know more about that rock. I want to know that briefcase, why that man was running, why he was in those caves to even start with. Those caves lead to an underground like lair or something. I'm into it. I'm into watch it, whatever it is.
I know, me too. And I did hear, and I was a little bit sad, but then I totally get it. It makes total sense. No returning characters, no returning anything from the season. They're going straight to something new, but they will dive into that rock and the upside down. So those things will still play a part. It'll just be different characters, different story, different vibe altogether. So it will be interesting to see that. Okay, I do want to mention this in my brain. I have other shows that are like I love that where they pick up where you left off like many years later. And so I thought, oh, put in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, a big pickup where 11 and Mike and bring them back at that age. I don't know. I can be hopeful that maybe they'll do it some like way in the future. Oh, it would be so cool if they did. Okay. Do you have a favorite season, episode, or scene overall series wide that sticks out to you?
I really liked 3 in the Mall. I thought it was the first time that it was the first time we got introduced like to Robin, and she's such like a great like addition to the cast. And I thought it was just like a lot of fun. Like we got to go to Russia for a little bit. I just liked all of the things I think in season 3.
I love that season too. And I really do love Billy. I wrote Billy's name down because he was so, even though he was like so bad, the part where he walks in as a lifeguard and Karen Wheeler and all the women are like propping up,
Putting on their
waiting for him to
makeup.
come out. I know. It was so good. It was so good. And he comes to their house. I'm like, holy crap. That was such a good. So I do miss Billy, even though he was a bad dude or became a bad. Well, he was already bad, but worse dude. But then he redeemed himself at the very end. But anyway, but for me, really, season 4, I love the main moments are with Eddie and Eddie playing on the rooftop and his relationship with Dustin and his sacrifice, but also Max. I like that whole running up that hill song with Max and just everything that she's going through and Elle trying to save her. So I just love season 4. I just thought it was such a good season. So that is my favorite. Okay. And thoughts on the Duffer Brothers and their storytelling across the series?
So I want to say thank you to them for providing us with years and years of really enjoyable watching, great storytelling, all of that. But I really wish they would have focused on finishing like the series before doing anything else. I feel like they're almost like a George R.R. Martin where we had to wait, how long was that break? 3 years? 4?
3
Yeah,
years,
3.
yeah.
And I didn't know if we were ever going to get it. And maybe I'm a little salty that I can't go and see the play. Maybe it'll come to Pittsburgh eventually. That's probably a lot of why I'm salty. And I'm so excited for the new show, and I will probably watch anything that they're involved in because I think if anything, their TV shows are the show's like a love letter to whatever like the story is. It's a love letter. Like you look at how they talk about the 80s and you don't really hear anything bad about the 80s. It's just love.
I think that they are masterful storytellers. They craft heartfelt stories. It seamlessly blends music and 80s nostalgia, which I talked about earlier. They guide strong performances. The fact that they can cast these young actors and know that they were going to be so good years later, or just however they guided them, is just beyond me. They say kid actors are hard. Kids and dogs, or not dogs, animals are hard to deal with. And the fact that they had to wrangle a bunch of kids, and they knew, how did they know Finn would be so good as Mike? How did they know that? And Millie Bobby Brown and all of them. There's just so many of them. How did they know that? And just they've all phenomenal actors, like every single one of them in that group, all of them. I'm going to miss Will too. And I didn't mention that. I love his character. There's something about when he talks and when he says things, I don't know, it just grabs me. All of them, I just think are so important. And even though I might pick one or the other as my favorites, but it's really that core, the way that they act together. But I really do think the Duffer Brothers were so masterful in bringing all of this together, the way they directed each episode, how important it was for them to get the right music, the right moments, the right actors, and the way that they do transitions in even scenes, like they'll do the slapping of a book, but then it's something else and a door closing, whatever it might be, or the moment that they're bringing up. It's just really talented people. And yes, I'm looking forward to the next thing they do, and I'm in it to see them. So I love that. All right. Any parting thoughts on Stranger Things?
I guess I was just thinking about like how, I don't know, I feel like sometimes, because I was thinking about Max and how she probably, if she would have told her past like self that she'd be playing like a D&D game, there's no way. Like, I know she's into video games and skateboarding, but that's a different vibe. It's not D&D vibe. And I feel like it just reminds me that sometimes we need to try things we maybe normally wouldn't. So I think stop judging books by covers too, because if she wouldn't have hung out with these guys, then she wouldn't have met Lucas. And that there's, even though there's plenty of bad, there's still plenty of good too, if you just look for, right in the right spots and all of that. I don't know, I think the show is just a very hopeful show, because it did end very happily with undertones. There's like nuance to it because not everybody's happy. It felt natural though, I think. It didn't feel forced.
I love Stranger Things so much. It is one of my top 3 TV series. I love the finale. I told you I felt surprisingly sad, not just because the show ended, but because it feels like this kind of storytelling might end. It's through this 80s lens, and there's just such an innocence and loyalty first friendships. And recently, now it's almost been a year, but Cobra Kai ended, which was another one of my favorite shows. Walking Dead, the main mothership, ended. And yeah, there's spinoffs, but it's like, those are my 3 top shows. And it's like they've all ended. And I'm like, wait, what do I have? What do I have? And I searched for other things. And yes, there's such good TV and such good movies out there, but there's something about these characters and knowing them for so long, caring about them. And I truly do care about characters. And I think that's one of the things I resonate with Mike, is being a storyteller. Because what is this podcast? It's about talking about characters and TV shows that mean something to you, that live with you, that stay with you. And so I think that's why the show means so much to me, and why it's so hard, and why I've been in a funk since the 31st about it. Duffer Brothers, I'm holding out hope that you're going to bring me something, and maybe and other directors and creators out there. I don't know. It's an era of TV that I'm just grateful for, and grateful that we got to see it and experience it. And it's going to be one of those ones that 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, people are going to look back at and have really fond memories of it. I love that people went to the movies to watch this. I have FOMO. I want to be those people. I wanted to be in the seat with those people and see other people react. I wanted to walk in, say, oh, they love Stranger Things. They love Stranger Things, right? And walk out. Oh my God, did you see that moment? I just didn't get you because it's around New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and I'm with my family. We did other things, and it just didn't work out. But at least I got to see it in the comfort of my own home. But I would have loved to have seen it. I love that people still go to the movies. Friends out there, what did you think of the finale? Please share it with us. Let us know if anything that we said during this podcast resonated with you. Leave us a comment wherever you're listening or watching us. You can get to all of it at screensinfocus.com, which is in our show notes. If you want to call us, you can call us at 669-223-8542 and follow Screens in Focus, because we are always talking about TV and movies that we love. Sam, I know we've only had a week since our last podcast episode, but I have a few TV and movie recommendations that I want to share with you. And one of them you watched, and I hadn't watched all of it, but it was Emily in Paris. And I just finished it. And I told you I was feeling a little lackluster about it. And I'm glad I watched the rest of it. Let me say that. And it does go up and down, and I'm not like 100% sold on it, but I did appreciate it and was happy to see where it might go or where it was going. So I wanted to share that with you. Did you want to say anything else about Emily in Paris?
I think it's just sometimes it's a nice escape because it's not a heavy show. And I think that's all it's really meant to do, is just to be entertaining. It's not like a Stranger Things where you're going to think about it. Everything just looks pretty. I'll keep watching the show. I don't know that I'll ever stop, but as long as they're doing something cool with it, yeah.
I do have 3 movies that I watch, and they were all different levels of good. I watched a movie called Lou on Netflix. It's with Allison Janney. It's a few years old. It was actually pretty good. There's a guy that comes to town. He's after a woman and her child. Have you seen that one? Does that sound familiar? Oh, have you not seen it?
No, I haven't
at all?
seen it, but no, I haven't. But I know I've seen like the trailers and stuff. It looked really good. I haven't watched it yet, but it looks really good.
Yeah, so me and my husband watched it, and he even said that was pretty good. I'm like, it was pretty good. It's just some town and the happenings in that town, but about them and what maybe their previous lives were and how it led them to there. So it was really good. It was entertaining. So if you're just looking for a movie to watch, check that out. Also, Wake Up, Dead Man, Knives Out Mystery on Netflix. This one lifted me up. It was really good. It was so much better than I expected. I was so happy with it. Did you say you saw this?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I liked it.
It's so good.
I would watch Daniel Craig do an unlimited amount of these movies. He is having a blast. And I love like all the ensemble. Like I thought it was like a lot of people.
Yes.
But it, like every character worked, I think. And Josh O'Connor played the priest. I know him as he played Prince Charles in The Crown in like the 3rd and 4th season. So I know him as stuffy old Prince Charles. And then the only other thing I've seen him in is it was the Zendaya movie about like tennis that came out like a couple years ago.
Oh, Challengers.
That's it. And so he goes from stuffy to like the opposite of stuffy, I think. So it's nice to see him as like,
him. Anyway, I loved the movie. Thought it was great. Like so entertaining, so good. I would like highly recommend it to people. Like I just thought it was so
very
good.
fun.
I can't imagine someone not liking the movie. Yeah, it's just a really good movie. Now, I also went to watch Marty Supreme, and I saw this on New Year's Eve, right? New Year's Eve. We had our Stranger Things party, which I told you about. But I had my Stranger Things cake.
So cute.
But people had come over earlier, and so we spent time doing that. And then they're like, "Let's go!" Like, I gotta watch Stranger Things. So what happened? We went and watched Marty Supreme. Then I came home, stayed up super late because I'm like, I'm not going to bed before I watch this show. So I did. But so it was a great New Year's Eve that I had. But Marty Supreme, Timothée Chalamet, he is extraordinary in this. He is such a good actor. It's like crazy. The movie takes you all different places. At first, I was a little bit like, I don't know if table tennis is going to get me. But it's not really about table tennis. It is, but it's not. It's about Marty being this kind of calm, manipulative guy. But it seems like they're all like that at that. It's 1950s, and he wants to get the money to go defend a title or regain a title, and as the best champion of table tennis, and he just does anything and doesn't care who he stomps on, who he steals from, what he gets, what he says. But then he doesn't care, but then he does care. So it's really interesting to watch his portrayal in this. And so I thought his portrayal itself was so good. So there are my recommendations. And I just want to thank you, Sam. I can't I'm just so grateful to you for spending this time with me. I really appreciate you.
Oh, always, Diana. I will always help you out, to be honest. But I'm always so grateful and like super just like appreciative of you allowing me to gab at you for however long we gab and for just the conversations. It's truly always a highlight. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to go recap everything to my husband and just talk about everything. And he gets not excited when I do this, but he knows I enjoy it. So he just like, it's just, yeah, it's always a good time. So thank you always.
Thank you. And hey, 28 years later is coming out later this month. So we're going to have to go watch it and talk about that. So if you're a 28 weeks, days, years fan, go check out our previous podcast episodes, and hopefully we'll be doing one on the current movie. Thank you, Sam. And thank you, friends out there, for joining us. We're so grateful that you joined us. We hope we said something that inspired you. Please share with us any thoughts you have. And remember to follow Screens in Focus at screensandfocus.com. And keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.